we'll jump into it. I want to thank everybody for coming. Today's great event hosted by Mr. Jake Van Ness up in the corner. Canva for beginners. We've all heard of it. I still don't use it. Looking really forward to hearing a lot about this, and the fact that Canva has 100 million unique users a month is pretty impressive. And I think we all should start becoming a little more aware of this and see how it can help with our business. So without wasting any time, I want to hand the reins over to Jake to take it away. Thanks, Jake.
All right. Thank you, Lane. I appreciate it. And thank you to V50 for hosting this today. So we are going to get started with Canva for beginners. So basically, who am I? I am a graphic designer, and I'm also a virtual producer. I worked about 10 years in the printing industry, and I've been in design and marketing for about 22 years. I started my first business, Graphic Precision, about 12 years ago. That is my graphic design and marketing business. And then about 2.5 years ago, I started Elevated Virtual, which a lot of you know is my virtual production company. So in the chat, if you could do me a favor, you'll find the chat at the bottom of the screen. There's a little button that says chat. Go ahead and click that. That'll open up for you. Let me know what business you are in and what is your role at that business. I'd like to get an idea of who we have here today. So I'll give you guys a second to find that and list out what you guys do. And also take an opportunity to go through it and read what other people do. There may be somebody you could connect with while you're here. I think it's a great way to find out what people do. All right, that looks like it's slowed down a little bit. So we'll move on to our first poll. I'm going to go ahead and launch this poll, and I want to get an idea of what your experience is with Canva. So I'm going to go ahead and launch that. You should see that up in the middle of your screen now. Go ahead and click what about your experiences. Give it a couple more seconds for that. It looks like we're falling about the middle, have an account, but haven't really created anything, or have created a few designs. So that's great. One of you actually put what is Canvas, so I guess you're in the right place today. And then it looks like 2 of you say you have actually used Canva quite a bit, which is awesome to see as well. So I'm going to go ahead and end that, and I'll just share the results so everybody can see that real quick. So again, we're definitely in the middle of having an account and haven't really created anything and created a few designs. So that's great to hear. So go ahead and stop sharing that. So what are we going to do today for the next about an hour? We're going to have 5 sections. The first section is I want to talk about what is the difference between the free and the Canva Pro account. The second section, we will talk about the Canva dashboard, which is where you actually land when you first log in. Then there's part 3, which is the Canva design editor. That's the really important and that's the really fun part. That's where you get in, you get to play with designs and you get to really do your creativity. I also want to talk about how to stay organized. One of the things that a lot of people that do creative work find is they start losing where things are and they start forgetting where they had things. Canva can get pretty crazy if you're not organized. So we're going to talk about that. And then I have a special offer and also the PDF that I promised everybody for the very end. So we're going to start with what is the difference between the free and the Canva Pro account. So let's look at the features and the pricing. So the pricing here you can see is the monthly. It also has the ability to do it yearly. So that is an option. You'll save about 16%. So I do recommend if you plan on using Canva to look at that. But more importantly, we want to look at some of the features that I think are really important. So the first thing is, as the free account, you only get about 1/4 of the available free stock photos, graphics, videos, and audio. You only get about 25% with that free account. The other two accounts, the pro and the team, I'm not really going to go into the team account because I know most people here are probably looking at more at just the single use pro account. You'll get 4 million of those stock photos, graphics, videos, and audio. That's huge. Now, you get 1 million plus when you're on the free account, so it definitely is somewhere to start. The other feature that's really cool is you can upload your own font. We're going to talk about branding and a branding kit within Canva in a little bit, but you can actually upload your font. So if your company has a specific font they have to use when creating graphics, you can upload that. Now look at the difference in the numbers for the templates. It's actually rather large. Give me a spotlight here. So for free, you get 8,000. For pro, you get 60,000. That's quite a jump in the free templates or the templates that you can use. Some other things that I think are really important are, again, the brand kit. The brand kit is only available in the pro version. That allows you to be able to set up your logos, your fonts, your colors, things like that. And again, I'll show you that in a little bit. Another thing that's really cool that you get with the pro account is the magic resizer. This is super important when you're doing social media posts, because we all know that Facebook has a slightly different size than Instagram, and then LinkedIn has a slightly different size than the other two. Well, there's a tool right within Canva that will quickly resize your post or your graphic for you without having to do a lot of work. So that, again, is only available at the pro version. The background remover is another really great feature. A lot of people want to do background removal in photos, so that it's just them standing on a background or an object in front of a background. You can do that with the pro account. Another big one is the increase in size of storage. So for free, you get 5 gigs. It's not a lot when it comes to doing graphics. The pro account gives you 1 terabyte. That's quite a bit. Another thing, again, going back to what we're talking about with organization, is folders. Your unlimited folders on any of these accounts. And I promise you, if you don't use folders, you're going to lose things. So we'll talk about folders in a little bit as well. Another thing that's important to my heart, because of my background in the printing industry, is you can export print-ready files in CMYK for Pro account. So that means you can send your file to a printer and they're going to be happy with it. If you try to do that with the free account, you're going to get a lower resolution and an RGB, which is not the right color space for printing. So again, if you want to be able to do print products and be able to do business cards, brochures, stuff like that, you definitely want to have the pro account. And then there are tools for teams. I will just mention that because if you're in an organization that has a bunch of different people that want to work together, there are collaboration tools within Canva that can be super useful. So next, we're going to go into the Canva dashboard. And this is where you first land when you log in. And this is what it looks like. So it's a lot going on, a lot here to look at. But I'm going to point out some of the things that I think are super important when you first get in. That search bar at the top is going to be your friend, because that search bar at the top, you can actually search for templates, but also your own projects. So if you know you did a project on a certain day or a certain topic, you can actually search for that project and it'll pull that up. Otherwise, you can search for templates if you're trying to do an Instagram video, which is the first one in the recent searches. You can type in Instagram and anything related to Instagram will come up. Same thing for Facebook and LinkedIn and any of those platforms. Across here are basically their products that they offer with Canva. The For You is suggestions based on what you've designed in the past. And so that's why a lot of my stuff is presentations and documents and stuff like that, because I was working on putting this together. Documents is a brand new feature that just came out this month for Canva. And the easiest way I could describe it is a competitor to Google Docs. It allows you to collaborate with other people right within Canva. It's an awesome tool. The whiteboard, same thing. You can get a team together, get a whiteboard up, brainstorm ideas, go through project planning, that kind of stuff. Presentations, the presentation that you're seeing, that is the slide deck, was all built within Canva. You can also obviously do social media posts. That is probably the biggest thing that Canva is used for, is social media posts. You can also edit videos. The one thing I will emphasize with Canva is it is not a high-level software. So when you do video editing or you do design, it is not pixel perfect. And that's fine for almost anything anybody does. But there may be times that you may find that something doesn't work as well as you want it to. If that's the case, then you may have to find something that's a little bit more powerful to do either video editing or maybe a certain type of graphic. And then they do offer website design. Again, it's very basic. It's typically just a one-page web design that's just a single scroll. So they do offer that as well. And then there's more. More will take you to all kinds of stuff that you can build. And if these are just suggestions. So let's go back to For You. Again, in this area, it is giving you suggestions based on what you've built before. Below that is their announcement about Canva 2022. It was a big conference they had where they made announcements about a lot of the new products. It's a bunch of videos. If you get in there, you can watch those and see what they're releasing. And then below that is your recent designs. These are the designs that you've done in the last couple times that you've been in. So if you've seen any of my posts in the last week and a half for this session, you can see they're all right here. They're all on the top because they're all the ones that I just recently did. And this is where you can just scroll forever to see all the stuff that you've worked on. So let's talk about the top menu. The top menu, obviously Canva, if you click on that, will take you right back to the same page. The design spotlight is really cool. If you have something you want to work on, but you're not quite sure how to get started with it, there's all kinds of helpful tutorials and hints and stuff on how to do it. And you can see here, it's all these different types of makers. Then you've got the top products that people work on while they're in Canva. Again, if you're trying to just get used to how it works and you want to come up with a project, it's a great way to kind of find what you're looking for. Business, this just talks about some of the brand management stuff, some of the content management stuff, how you invite teams, things like that. It also goes into, if you're in a specific industry, look for that industry, do a search for that industry, and it'll show you all kinds of posts related to that industry. So for example, if you're in real estate and you click on this, it has a really good informational page on how you can use their product to help you with real estate. Education. So what's really cool is they have a pro and they have a Teams account, but they also have a free version for schools and for nonprofits. So if you know somebody that's a teacher that wants to use this, they can do that for free. If you're a nonprofit, you can apply to actually have them give you the system for free as well. We've already talked about plans and pricing. And then under Learn, they've got their blog. They have their own training internal with Canva under their design school, teaches you all kinds of stuff. It's really, really useful. And then they talk about their events like the Canva Create 2022 that they had. And then they have their help center that helps you get started. You can download the app to your desktop. The only thing I will warn you is that it is still internet-based. Because so much of the templates and stuff are hosted on their servers, you need to have internet if you use the desktop app. So I typically just use the browser because it's pretty much the same thing. This gear is your account settings. Notifications, those are used when somebody shares something with you. So if you are working with other individuals and they share a file with you, you'll get a notification that says, hey, so-and-so wants you to look at this project, and you'll see it there. Create Design literally is a place to get started. There are so many different areas to just get started, but this is just another one where you can do a search for a specific social media you're trying to post to or a certain type of project that you want to work on. And then this is obviously just tells you who's logged in and what account it's under. Again, you can do a custom size. So if you know, okay, I want to do a business card, you can literally put in the size of the business card that you want to design. It'll open up a blank document at that size. And then upload is for uploading your own photos, some of your own graphics. You can upload your own logos and your fonts. This little hamburger opens up even more menu system on the left-hand side here. So the top one is whatever quote unquote team you're on. If you are in here on your own, then you won't have a team per se. I have other teams that I'm on where I work with other creatives or other business people. So I can switch that and that'll actually show me what's shared with me or what I've worked with them on. So I'm going to pause. Let me get this out of the way. So Jennifer, you have a question?
Yep. Hey, Jay.
Hey.
So every now and then I need to do a just a regular one page to print out. And I never know where to go to find just the standard 8x11, 8.5 by 11 page.
So probably the best thing to do is just do letter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it'll bring up all the templates.
Which seriously, never even thought of doing that. I just look for something more complicated.
I'll be honest with you, that search feature is amazing. That you just have to think of anything related to that, and it'll actually bring up templates that have to do with that. So that's what I recommend is just type in letter, and then you can find the letterhead size.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. All right, we're going to go back to our left-hand side. Home, obviously, is where we land when we first get logged in. Templates is where you can find everything that you could possibly work on. And you will see this has subcategories. There is a lot of different templates. And like we saw earlier, it's, I think, 60,000 different templates. That's insane if you really think about it. But that's where you're going to start. When you come to design something, create a project, you're going to start with a template. There's no reason to start with a blank document and try to create something from that. Start with a template and customize it from there. So you can see there's all of these different types of templates. I'll go back home. And then projects are your projects. They're the things that you've worked on. So again, it's going to show me my most recent ones at the top here. Then it's going to show me some folders. Folders are key when it comes to Canva. Folders are key for keeping things organized. And I will show you quickly how to move something into a folder, how to create a folder. But we'll go into that in a little bit. And then images are things that you've uploaded that are there for you to use. I don't have a lot there because I have a lot of my stuff organized in folders. And then videos that you've uploaded also show up here. So when you go into folders, like you can actually click folders up here, you can see all the different folders that I have available. So for this, I put all of my Canva advertisements for this course in the same place so that I know where they are if I need to grab them again for any reason. And I put my presentation there. I put the videos there. I put the PDF I'm going to share later so that it's all in one place and I can find it. And this breadcrumb up here, you can just click to back out, or you can just click on projects again, and it'll take you to that page. Brand. This is something that's in the pro account only, and I think is super important for businesses. One of the things as somebody in marketing that I always get frustrated with is when people get away from using the right colors, they lose track of the logos they're supposed to be using. They might use some random font that has nothing to do with their business. And the way to prevent that with Canva is to set up these brand kits. And so within a brand kit, you can actually upload your logos. You can pick out your colors and you can set your fonts. And that way you're consistent. So if I'm designing for Elevated Virtual, I make sure that I use these this brand kit and these elements so that I'm consistent throughout what I'm doing when I'm advertising or I'm marketing Elevated Virtual. If I want to do for my design business, the same thing. I have my logos for that. I've got my colors, and I've got my fonts. So again, it's all packaged so that I know I'm consistent when I'm designing my marketing materials.
Jake, can you pull your own logo in on the free version?
You can pull it in, but you can't set up a brand kit.
Got it.
So you can upload it and it'll be there, but you just can't set up the brand kit.
Okay.
So anything you see with this little crown means that it's a pro option. When you're in the free account, you'll see that some of that stuff will have the crown. It just means that you're not able to access it without a watermark on it. So if you find a template that you like and you're like, I really want to use that template and it's got the crown, you're going to see it's going to say Canva across it. And you won't be able to get rid of that unless you upgrade to Pro.
Got it. Thank you.
The next thing on this list is the content planner. Again, this is a Pro feature. This is something that Canva is still working on making better. It works okay. I personally have not really found it to be the best way to plan out my posts if I'm going to put them online, but you can put them in here and schedule them for the different platforms. I just found it much more cumbersome than some of the other applications that are out there, but it is available and it is possible to use. Plus they have some crazy holidays they put in here. So obviously Christmas isn't one, but Crossword Puzzle Day just gives you an idea of something to maybe put out on social media. Discover apps. This is where you can tie in things like Box, like Dropbox. There's a lot of different stuff in here. This is definitely a more advanced area of Canva, and it's more for people who are doing more advanced things with their designs. They're trying to host things somewhere else and be able to pull them in. But there are a ton of different things that you can do to connect it with other places. So it's just something to be aware of. Go in and poke around and see what might work for you. But again, this is definitely a more advanced area of Canva. Smart Mockups is a really cool feature that they've just recently added. This allows you to take a design and a project that you've done and put it into an environment, meaning that you can put it on a computer screen, meaning you can put it on a watch. It allows you to take your design, especially if it's a social media graphic, and put it in the environment that people are going to be able to see it. And it's a great way to show something off. So these, you literally click and drag, and that, again, that's more of an advanced feature, but it's a really cool feature. You open this up, you grab whatever graphic you have, you drag it over, and it snaps to whatever is the blue or whatever it says your design here. So you don't have to try to crop it. You don't have to try to cut it. You don't have to do any of that stuff. It just fits that area. And then it looks like it's on the computer screen or it's on the phone screen. Starred. These, for me, are specific folders that I spend most of my time in. So I have a special content system that I use that works with Canva that I bought outside of Canva. So this is the folder that gets me into that really quickly. And then again, my social posts, this gets me into my folders by month so that I know what I uploaded, when I upload it. And as we know, you can upload things again. So 6 months from now, I could be like, I just don't have time to put something together. I can go into one of these folders, upload it really quickly, and I'm done. So that's why I keep all of this stuff organized. And then invite members. This is where if you have an organization that has more than one person working in Canva, you can invite them to work with you as a team. So for example, Rob Schauger, who's on this call, I do a lot of work with him on his branding. And so he and I go back and forth in here so that I could just send him a link quick and say, hey, look at this, let me know what you think. And he can kick me back what he wants changed or what he wants updated. Or he could do some tweaking himself, which is even cooler. And then trash is where everything is that you delete. Something to keep in mind with trash is that it does not count towards your size, so your storage size. So that 1 terabyte, if you've got a bunch of stuff in trash, it's not counting that towards the 1 terabyte. Not that you should have to worry about that with 1 terabyte. That's a lot of space.
Does the trash get swept out?
It does get emptied every 60 days.
Okay.
So it is good to keep an eye on that. If you have something there, like you move something there and go, crap, I need it back, you can restore it. All right, so the next part is where all the fun is. This is the Canva design editor. So we're going to go in. So all of that I just worked with you on is just the dashboard of where you land when you first come into Canva. Now we're going to get into the part where you actually edit templates and work with your files. So this was a recent design that I put together to promote this session. As you can see, there's a bunch of templates that come up automatically. These are all recommended based on what other people are designing, what other people are using. But this search bar, you can pretty much put anything you want in here and it'll bring it up. So Canva, see, let's do a better one. So this is specific to Canada Day. Brings up all these templates that have to do with Canada Day. So the cool thing about this is when you click on it, it'll ask you if you want to add a new page or if you want to replace the current page. So I'm just going to replace the current page. So now it brought that design into that page. All of this stuff is editable. That's what makes it a really cool template, so that you're starting with something and you don't have to start with a blank canvas and try to figure out what you're going to do. No, it doesn't, Greg. So Greg asked, does Canva share your designs with other users? It does not. There are specific people who are Canva designers that their stuff is because they're actually paid to create those templates and then they're put into the template bank. So again, these are good ways to start. And this is your template section. You do have the ability to sort by colors if you've got certain colors you want to work with. And then you can choose the language if you were to need to do that. They also have these suggestions up here. Obviously, with Christmas coming up, there's all of these templates for Christmas. Now, right now, we are looking at Instagram Square because that's what I designed mine to be. So that's why all of these look like they're square. If I were to say, okay, I want to do a different size, that's where you could use this resizing tool, and you can actually choose how you want to resize it. So like, I want to change this to Instagram Reel, which is much taller. Do this. Now it's not perfect, but it definitely takes a lot less time than me trying to copy everything over. Now I can actually move this stuff around as I need to make it work better. And as you can see here in the templates, it is now changed to the Instagram Reel size rather than the square. And so all of the templates over here are now that size. Again, there's a bunch of different suggestions up here. It's a great place to start. Okay, that one didn't have anything. Why would that be there? All right, so there's one that's quotes. And again, it changes these based on every time you click an option, it'll change that to be more specific. So that's under templates. Elements. These are things that you would bring in. So for example, this circle piece is an element. And again, you can search for pretty much anything you could think of that you want to have an element. There's a couple suggestions along the top again, but also you can scroll, like you can see what I've recently used. And then here's your lines and shapes. But if you just want to go into lines and shapes, you just hit see all, and now you're in lines and shapes. So you don't have to scroll to the right in order to see everything. You can just click on that, and to go back, you just hit this here. And again, some of this stuff will change based on what season it is, what time of the month it is, what time of the year it is, all of that stuff. There is also video and audio options within Canva. I'm not going to go into that because, again, that is a much more advanced area of Canva. I think most people are more interested in the social media posting and stuff like that, flat graphics. But I definitely recommend that you go in and play with it. I mean, there's some really cool things in there. There's tables, there's charts, and then there's these frames that what happens is, let me go. See how it snaps inside the frame? So that way you don't have to try to make that a circle. It does that for you. So you take that frame, and it could be any frame, really. Let's see. Actually on that spread. Again, it snaps to whatever size that is. So it's a great way to be able to do cutouts and stuff without having to do a whole lot of work. And as you see, if you click on it once, it selects the image inside the frame. Click on it again, it selects the frame. So that's just something really cool to really quickly put something in a circle or in a shape, as Alan just showed. Again, that's frames. And there's like charts are cool. These are actually customizable, which I recently discovered that. And I did a presentation deck recently where I built every 5% for a graph. God, I wish I had known that was there first. That's a lot easier way to do that. So there's tons of stuff to come and play with, and just you click on it and it shows up on the whiteboard. Let's see what, so that's elements. There's a ton of different stuff under elements. These collections are literally that. They're just a collection of images that are put together. So if you did a search for like gym and fitness or gym, these would show up as a package. So they're just grouped together, and the styling's the same. And so it's easier to tell what they are. Let's see what else. And so there's a bunch of different collections. Upload. This is where you would upload images, photos, graphics, stuff like that that you want to use within your project. So for example, I uploaded my headshot to be able to use in this project. This is something else I was working on for this session. You have your images, your videos, and your audio. So this just, you could basically upload any of that stuff in this one place, and then you'll be able to find it. Text. Now, again, going back to the search function, you could search if you know a style of type or text that you want to use, do a search, and it'll help pull that up. This part here is a pro option because it's using the brand kit fonts, and you can change it between the two depending on which one you need. And again, that is a pro feature. Below that is all these different combinations. And not only are they fonts, but a lot of them have treatments put to them. Like you can see with Huge Sail, the top's filled in, the bottom's not. You pull this in, you can just change the word, and it won't change the styling. And you can do that down here as well. And it keeps the way that it's laid out. Now, that doesn't mean you can't edit it. There's all of this stuff up here I'll go into in a second, but you can edit the way that looks. And again, the ones with the crown are pro versions. But you can see there's a bunch of stuff in here that's not pro, but a lot of it is. And again, this is helping you not have to think from scratch how to design something. These are things that people, when they see it, will be like, okay, that looks good. And so it's a great way to start and then work around that with the template. For example, I was working and I said, okay, I want handwriting. So it brings up all the ones that are similar to people's handwriting. And again, these crowns mean they're pro versions. Just make sure there's. Yes. So Brian, I saw your question. Everything I'm showing you, I'm working in the pro version. That's why most of my crowns are not yellow, because if you're in the free version, they'd show up a different color. That's. And I'm looking back. Kim is crop photos into a circle. Okay, yeah, I showed that with the frame. After text, we're going to go into projects, which is basically your folders. This is where you can go into your specific folders that you set up and find what you want to work on. Okay, so Adele, I'll cover that in 1 second. There's a reason why you can't see it. So if you want to create a folder, you just click on this and then you can name it. And then if you have team members, you can actually invite those team members. So you can have folders that are just your own and folders that the team can see. And so if there's a project that the team's working on, you want to obviously set up a folder that everybody in the team can see. And then once you do that, your folders will show up here. And then back on the dashboard, you'll be able to see them there as well. So to answer Adele's question, if you go to apps, more from Canva, you will see text under there. The issue is that you can actually remove certain ones. And so you have to go to apps to see if you can add that back in. Let's see, we're in projects. Okay. So again, this is folders. You can also star templates, graphics, fonts, and then they would just show up in here. So obviously I was doing a bunch of stuff to promote this. The Canva logo was something that I had started. Let's see. And then as you can see, start now shows up over here because I clicked on it. A couple other cool, like photos is important. Let me go, let's see. Styles, that was the other one I show you. All right. So photos, there's a ton of stock photography in Canva that you can use. Again, look for the crown. If you're not on pro version, you'll see that there. And again, you can do searches for whatever type of photo you might need. And it give you the suggestions here. So you can see that each one of these tabs works very similar. They're just divided into whatever type of element it is. Styles is pretty cool. Styles are something that they have built where they can put stuff together and help you design. This actually takes the colors and the fonts and applies it. So you can quickly switch things around by just clicking on these styles. And again, you may look at that and go, holy cow, that's horrible. But it's a place to start. You can do it with just font sets. You can do it with just colors, or you can actually do it with a combination. So with the fonts, you just click on the fonts. It doesn't change any of the colors. It just changes the fonts. The colors, the opposite. It'll change the colors, but not the fonts. So that's a cool feature that I've enjoyed playing with, just to quickly be able to switch things around and see what other colors work better. Again, at the very top, you will see your brand kit information, the colors for the brand kit, and the font for the brand kit. This is always front and center so that it keeps you within what your brand should look like. Are there any other questions as I'm going through this? Okay, I'm going to keep moving then. So, staying organized. I'm going to, again, talk about how important these folders are. And what is really cool is you can do folders and folders. So for example, I have social media posts then 2022, and I have the last couple months. And I have it in these, but if I wanted to sort it by weeks, or I wanted to sort it by Say I wanted to sort it by my 2 companies. I could put a folder in that says Graphic Precision. I could put a folder in there that says Elevated Virtual. You can just go as deep as you want to stay organized. So once you design something, let me get you out of the way. Go home. Pick something here, square. Okay, so this is a blank template, but this is giving me a bunch of stuff on the left-hand side that I could start with. So I'm just going to go winner. We're just going to start with that. Again, all of this stuff is editable. But once you set up a design, you want to name it, and you can name it up here next to your image. Now, once that's named, if you want to put it in a folder, you just go to File, Save to Folder, and then your projects is the top level. Your projects is like the start. And then you just go from there into whatever folders you want to go into. So now that is in that folder. If you don't do that, it will still show on the home screen under recent designs. Sometimes it takes a little bit for it to update the thumbnail, but it will not say where it is. So this says that it's in the 12 December 22 folder. It'll just say Instagram post, and whatever you named it, it won't actually show that it's in a folder. So as you're working, that will get moved down in the list. And so if you don't use folders, you're never going to find that design because you'll be scrolling forever trying to look through all of these to figure out where the heck that design is. So that's why folders are super important, because it allows you to really easily find where stuff is. So if I want to find that design, I go into projects, folders. I know I put it in the social media post, and it's right there. The other thing I could do is search my projects for the name of it. And it won't find that one. Wonder why. Huh. Wonder why that didn't work. Probably because it hasn't updated. Let's see if it's. Yeah, I don't know why. Sometimes because it's on a server, it'll take a little while for thumbnails to show up, for text to change. It changes in the design quickly, but I notice that sometimes when you save it, it just takes a little while for the interface to update. What time is it? All right. Some other things to think about under here, really cool feature for Pro is version history. So if you made a bunch of changes on Monday, you get in there on Tuesday and you make a change and you're like, I really wish I could go back to what I had on Monday. You can do that. That's, again, it's a pro level feature, but it's a really good one to have because sometimes you do make mistakes on changing things and you want to go back. So what do we do once we have something designed and we want to put it out on social media? We want to print it. We want to do something with it. You go over to share. Now, share, you can do a link if you're going to share it with somebody and have them take a look at it. You can download it, and there's several different ways you can download it. You can also share a template, which means that I could set all of this up and I could send it out to somebody as a template. They'll be able to edit it the same way in Canva that I was able to, but it doesn't affect my file. So that is really, really good for brands because they could set up a business card. And then somebody has to change the name, the email address, the title. You could send them a template and they can do that change in Canva without affecting the original template or the original file. So that's something to keep in mind. Download, you get a bunch of different options. This all depends on what you want to do with it. PNG is typically used for social media. That's what I suggest. And that's why it's the suggested one there. But say you were doing, like Jennifer was talking about, she wanted to do a letter size paper that she wants to print out. I'd recommend that you go to PDF and create a PDF from that. It'll download the PDF and then you can print from the PDF. And that's a high-res PDF, so it won't look blurry, it won't look messy. Again, for print, if you have the pro level, when you go to do a PDF for print, it'll ask you if you want to do CMYK or RGB. That has to do with color. Color on screen is considered RGB, red, green, blue. When you print, they use CMYK, which is cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So that's why there's two different options. So if you're going to send it to a printer, you want to make sure you export it as a CMYK file. And again, that is a pro level feature that I think is super important with a lot of what I do. You've got, if you're working on a video in here, which I didn't really show you much of that, you can export as an MP4. Some of the stuff that I did to advertise this session were really short video clips that were just animation that I put in with Canva, and I exported that as an MP4 and uploaded that so you get that real quick animation. So let me show you, as we're getting towards the end here, I want to show you a couple designs and some different things that I did along that line. So, whoops. So this one's actually a video, but it's just simple text flowing in really quick just to grab people's attention. The way to do that, just to show you really quick, is you click on it and you have these effects that you can do. I'm going to teach more later down the road how to do stuff like animation in Canva, but as a beginner, just play around with it. You really can't break anything. Play around with it, see what happens, see what it does. You can always go back. And especially as a template, if you destroy the template and make it something really awful, just find that template again and click on it and start over. So that's what makes Canva so awesome, is you can't really break anything. You can mess it up completely and start over again. So you can see I took this design and made this. Not a lot of changes, but enough to make it mine, as opposed to what everybody else was going to post. All right, let's show you a different one. So one of the things in Instagram is people like to use those ones where you swipe. You can do that by building several pages and then uploading it as each of the pages. So for this one, it was actually an Instagram swipe where each one was who I felt should come to the course. And so when I uploaded that, I just uploaded all 8 files, put them in order, and then people could swipe through them. Then I took it and said, okay, I want to take that same thing, but because Facebook doesn't have a swipe feature, it only has the way to do it is to do it by video. So I took that same file, resized it so it would work as a video, and then just made it so that it would automatically swipe on its own. So this presentation that I've been using is all built in Canva. I literally just clicked on the presentation template, started with a template that I thought looked good, and then I just edited, added my logos, added my name, added some text, and then just went through and added this. What's really cool with Canva is you can actually present from Canva. All you do is click this. You can do it a couple different ways. It can autoplay. It can be a presenter view, which gives you what the next slide is and some notes, or you can present and record. So if I wanted to record this, instead of doing it in Zoom, I could do it right in Canva. But I'm just going to keep on. So that just takes it to full screen mode. Your controls are down here at the bottom. And you can flip through. So it's really cool because you can design it right in Canva and then you can present it right in Canva as well. I know I've thrown a ton at you with this. There is a ton going on with Canva. I wanted to make sure that you guys could see that really what it is get in there, play with it, use the templates, find something that looks decent to start with and say, okay, I'm going to mess around with that. I'm going to add some different text. I'm going to add a different image and really play with it and see what you could come out with. I'll be honest with you, these Instagram posts, I can now do them in minutes, as opposed to doing something where I had to start from scratch. I can go in, make a couple color changes, make a little bit of text change, and boom, it's done. Export it, upload it, and I'm done. So I think it's an amazing tool when it comes to social graphics, but there's a ton more you can do with it as well. So before we close out, I want to do another poll really quick. So now that you know some of what Canva can do, out of these, what are some of the first things that you think you'll go in and play with? Go ahead and launch that poll. And you can pick more than one. And what this will do is it'll give me an idea of where maybe we can go with the next presentation. I like that comment, Randy. Now you can be one. So you got no excuse. All right, looks like almost everybody, about 75% have voted. So it looks like social, which is what I expected, is where it could go. And then presentations, which is great. So I'm going to go ahead and end that, share it just so you guys can see the results. And while you're looking at that. So now what I want to provide you guys is a PDF that I'll put in the chat that has shortcuts for Canva. Some of them are kind of universal, but some of them aren't. And I think this is a really good document to have while you're working in Canva so you can make sure that you can do things even faster. So let me go ahead and drop that in chat for you. It'll take a second to upload. As soon as that uploads, you can go ahead and click it. It'll download to your computer, but I will also send this out as an email as well. So if you don't get a chance, I know like Randy's in the car. If you don't get a chance to do that, I'll send it to you guys by email so you have it as well.
We're almost at the top of the hour. Want to thank our V50 members that attended. Appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Looking forward to seeing you at happy hour tomorrow. It's going to be our last virtual happy hour of 2022. Again, a reminder to everybody in the New York tri-state area, we got a live happy hour happening Tuesday, December 20th to close out the year. Also, Mr. Jake's going to be in New York City for a couple days, so we can all celebrate together. And a big shout out to our guests who came today. I know some of you know Jake personally, others have got referred. We'll get some information out to you. We'll get an invite out to join one of our upcoming happy hours in January to see what this amazing community is all about. So thank you so much for being here. Any last words, Jake?
No, just thank you and reach out to me.
Sounds great.
Jake, that was really amazing, dude.
Thanks, Alan.
I thought I knew everything. No, you simplified a couple of things that I'm really psyched to go play with.
Cool, good. Very cool.
Have a great day and week, everybody. See a lot of you
Love you
tomorrow.
all.